Hi, my name is Archie Sharp. I'm the Super Featherweight WBO European Champion, and you are watching Shadowboxruk UK.
Hi and welcome to Shadowboxer. I'm here today in Wembley with Archie the Sharpshooter Sharp. That's difficult to say, to be fair. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm very, very well. Nice to see you, and thank you very much for giving us your time.
Thanks for coming down.
We're going to have to address it, aren't we? Your last bout with Leon Woodstock. Obviously, you're supposed to box Lucas Ballingall, and then unfortunately you were injured. So let's talk about Mr. Woodstock. I'm going to address tactically first. I have to say, beautiful footwork,
Thank you.
hand speed, switch of angles. Absolutely delicious technique, I've got to say, Archie.
No, thanks so much. What you're trying to do.
Yeah, gorgeous. And you put him down in the first round?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. Good shot, he went down. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you, so early on in the fight. But I caught with a lovely flush on the chin and he went over.
And also, let's call it a little bit of beef that was going on beforehand. I understand that Lucas felt that he'd seemed to have got in your head, or one of his friends seemed to think that he'd got into your head because of, let's say, a little bit of outbursts on your side.
Yeah, no, not at all. The thing is, with Leon, he talks a lot, and he kept saying a lot of things to try and aggravate me, to try and take me off my game plan. But I've been doing this game way too long, and I don't think he showed enough respect to realise how long I've been doing this and what level I've boxed at. Things like that are never going to worry me. He can say whatever he wants to say. It's just me and him in that ring. It's the same with any opponent, any fighter. They can talk, they can say what they want to say. At the end of the day, I know what I've got to do. I do my mind coaching, so I'm in a very positive place. I know exactly what I want to do and what I want to achieve. So yeah, therefore all them things he was saying is just irrelevant.
I wanted to pick up on one of the points that you've just raised about mind coaching. So, are you saying that you work with a sports psychologist?
Yeah, so Linda Keane is my mind coach. She learnt what she knows from Tony Quinn, who was the man who done the mind coaching and the mind programs for Steve Collins against Eubanks.
So yeah, I wanted to basically talk about that mind coaching because, you know, back in the day in boxing it was considered a bit woo-woo, and there was a comment that Leon made, I think it was at your press conference, yeah, that it obviously wasn't working. I mean, is it a case that, you know, you go around all the time with this kind of switched into the zone, or is that just something you switch into when you're about to box?
See, the thing is, before I boxed Leon Woodstock, I knew I was going to be the new champion. I knew it. I told myself every day. I drive the car and I tell myself every day I was going to win this belt. So I knew what was happening before we even got in the ring. All it was down to was my boxing skills to do what I needed to do. But mentally, I was in the zone. I knew where I wanted to go and I knew what I wanted. So you have got to turn yourself into that zone. You've got it's not something like you say. You don't walk around and you try and be positive. Because the thing is, like, I do a lot of mental health side of things now as well. I do workshops and talks with young kids and adults, anyone who's suffering from mental depression, because it's all related. And my mind coach basically is set up programs for me to know where I want to be. Like I said, I've got an 18-month plan to be world champion. Will be amongst world title fights, which I know I'm going to do. But yeah, going back to the fight, I had my mind coach, I had my mind program set out. Leon Woodstock fought it. He was in my mind, and when I was biting at the press conferences, he fought it. He had me. But the thing is, I'm in control of my mind. I'm in control of me, and I knew exactly what I was doing. And it just goes to show it in the ring. Do you know what I mean? I scored the man, and I knew if I was that, if he got to me that much, I'd have walked straight out from the first round and had a fight for 10 rounds. But I didn't.
yeah, so I wanted to bring up a point that you've just made, Archie, with regard to sort of being in the zone. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that people think if you've done the mind coaching that automatically every day you're going to be walking around in this positive mindset. What was very interesting for me was, as soon as you got in the ring, you could see the difference between yourself and Leon, and who was, let's say, in the zone.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I said, the press conferences and that, I knew I've always been in control for the whole build-up of the fight. I've always been in control, and for the other fights coming, I'll always be in control of my mind and me. When it's time to box and time to do what I've done, this is what I've trained my mind to do, and this is what I've trained my mind to be in that zone, in that 10 rounds or 12 rounds or whatever it's going to be. I've trained my mind to be zoned in for that fight. So like, people say to me, because I looked fresh, I looked like I was on my toes for 10 rounds, everyone's saying about my fitness, like, I programmed everything in. Like, I don't want to go into too much detail because it's my secret weapon, but
I was going to say
I don't want to go into too much detail because it's my secret weapon, but basically I was just in control of everything, and the mind is so powerful, and no one yet knows how. There is research and there's a lot of people who know, but not everyone knows how powerful the mind is. And like I say, that's why I do a lot of mental health and depression and just everything, just because unfortunately there's a lot of bad things that go on in the world at the minute, and I think with everyone putting their minds in a positive and good place, it can change a lot.
Talking about working towards mental health awareness, funnily enough, that's something that I think is really important, but especially for men, because it seems, unfortunately for you guys, that you're kind of not supposed to talk about certain things, emotions.
100%. See, a lot of men find it hard to talk. I did. That's why, because before I turned pro, that's how I met Linda, because I was in a bit of a bad place myself. And it was due to the fact that I wasn't talking to no one, and it was all building up, and I was aggressive, I was angry. People wouldn't want to be around me because I was just snapping all the time. So very aggressive. But now I try to change myself, and through the mental side of things, I just try and calm down, and it's I've lost my track here.
What is nice, Archie, is for you to open up about this. I mean, I've been speaking to a couple of people, male boxers. I think it's really difficult for you guys to open up. I think, however, it's a strength, talking about what you've been through or hardships. There's a lot of suicide amongst young men.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it obviously is because you guys are not supposed to have quote unquote a weakness, which
of course.
So I think it's a great thing that you've recognised it. I think it's a great thing that you're doing something for yourself and helping other people. So I totally commend that. And one of the other things that I really like about you, Archie, is you have stuck with the same coaching team since the amateurs.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, me and Richard have been with each other since I was 7. Don't get me wrong, it's such a long time, and going through the amateurs, that we had ups and downs like everyone else. I've been to a couple of other gyms. But when I decided to turn pro, we come back to each other, and Richard can get the best performance out of me. We're both loyal. I think he's a great trainer. I won multi-national titles with him, so as an amateur, so it just makes sense. And the thing is, it's about building. So Richard can do certain things, but our team doesn't mean I have to get rid of Richard if he can't do something. What we do is we bring someone else in who can do everything. So I've got a strength and conditioning coach, I've got a nutritionist, I've got Richard as my pad man, my trainer. I've got Mark Rowe, Archie Dublin, I'd say Linda. I've got a load of different people now as a team, so I'm building the team up.
Nice.
Because it ain't just me going, it's everyone. Do you know what I mean? Richard, like I say, Richard had me from the age of 7, which is great, and everyone always says the same thing to me. Maybe people do ask me the questions. Maybe Richard can only get to such level, which okay, yeah, maybe that is correct, but then what we do is we bring someone else in, but we're all together. We ain't got to get rid of anyone. No one's got to go and be left. We stay together and we just build ourselves stronger.
So you were talking about how important it is that you have a good team around you, Archie. I think again that's commendable, because a lot of people seem to think that it's kind of just them that gets those straps. So let's talk about, like I say, your amateur coach and staying with your amateur coach. What I wanted to ask was, you know, how easy or difficult was it to make that transition, not just for you, but as your coach as well, with regard to the pro style?
Well, the thing is, to be honest with you, I think I started naturally doing it as I was in the seniors, because I wasn't really. I was starting to get on a bit slower. I just started settling down. I think it just happened naturally, and that's what kind of made me want to turn over, because I thought I'm doing it naturally, yeah. So it makes sense to turn over. And people said the same thing. How can you go from an amateur coach straight to the pro? But we study boxing. We've been doing this for years. We've been around the best. We box the best. We spar the best. Like we're constantly around it. We're learning every day. So when I go and spar with the great pros, like I'm learning. We watch their trainers. We watch everything. So we learn every single day. So to turning over to the pros, yeah, it takes a bit of time, but we've done it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have a title fight till I was like 14-0, whatever it was, or 13-0. But that was timing. That was all in preparation. And then when I did have that fight, look what happened. I've won it. Do you know what I mean? And then it's the same for when I get to world level. Like, I reckon in 18 months I'll be fighting amongst them fighters. Like I say, I study boxing and learn boxing every single day, and I know I've got the ability for it. So
let's go back though to what you were saying, because I think it's really important for people to understand that pro boxing and amateur boxing are two different sports.
Of course.
That's the first thing. And I think it's important also as a coach that, you know, you've both come over from the amateur scene, you've taken your coach with you or your coaches by your side, and that you're both open to you know, learning still. So I think that that's really a nice point that you made. Also, this thing about, you know, I recall Woodstock talking about, you know, it's taken you so long to get to where you're at. Really and truly, who cares how long it takes you to get there?
100%. I'm only 23. Like, he's 20. I'm not being funny. Like, he's 25. He was 11-0, whatever it was, and now he's just lost his belt. He's a beaten fighter, and the only way he's going to get spoken about is when he starts mouthing off to people. It's the only way. That's the only way now. People, when they talk about Leon Woodstock, they just talk about, oh, well, that mouthy fighter. Where I'm not being funny, like myself or these other great fighters. They talk, oh yeah, he's a good fighter. He just beat. Do you know what I mean? He won titles. So that's how people want to be remembered as, and that's how I'm going to be remembered as.
But I also think that, Archie, you'll be remembered for your style as well. I mean, you can box, and I think it doesn't really matter how long it takes you to get there. It's the journey.
100%. That's what it's about. It's about learning. It's a journey. I'm only 23. I've only had 15 fights. Do you know what I mean now? So it's not a lot. I hardly take any shots. If you go back, I watched the Woodstock fight. I took a few shots in there that shouldn't have really happened. But for one, that was my own fault, because I knew he couldn't punch, so I wasn't worried about power or anything like that. But for two, when I'm watching it back, yeah, there's things I've got to work on with my defence to an extent. But you look at my other fights, I don't think I got hit. I remember recalling on some of my fights, I got like 2 shots landed on me in six rounds. So I don't take no punishment. So it doesn't matter how long it's going to take me, because I don't take punishment. Woodstock, I hardly really got hit against Woodstock, and so at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter about timing. It'd be a bit different if I was a face first fighter and getting it every single fight. Then, do you know what I mean? It's a bit different, but I don't take punishment. I'm a good mover. I'm a good boxer, and like I say, I'm young, so I've got all the time in the world. I ain't got to worry. And when I do step up, I make statements and win. Do you know what I mean? So when I did step up to Woodstock, I beat him and took his title. When I step up again for another title, I take their title and I keep my titles. So it doesn't matter really. It's just nonsense from that side. That's, do you know what I mean? It's just nonsense.
You've got a special ability to figure out in the ring when you're overcommitted with a shot and pull back the punch. I think that's I was just like, that's mesmerising that you're able to judge. You're so good at judging distance, timing. I think people underestimate how talented you are, to be honest with you.
Well, do you know what? See, you looking back at my fights and saying that, yeah, I appreciate that, because, see, to me when I watch that, that's just natural to me. So, you know, like, it's nice to hear that you actually recognise that, like, as a good positive stuff. For me, that's just natural. Like, I know when I'm at, I know where I am in the ring. Like, see, all that, it just comes natural. That's why Richard has got so much belief in me, because like, I can spar great fighters, yeah, great fighters, And Richard comes back and he's like, Arch, like, you are destined to be world champion because he's seen what I can do. And so I think, Rich, come on, mate, like, it's a bit of sparring, like, I was alright. Do you know what I mean? I just shrug it off, but maybe I don't. I'm starting to realise, yeah, that I'm a lot better than what. I'm starting to believe more in myself, but that's through the mental side of things. And also, it's just that line, isn't it? Being arrogant and too cocksure of yourself.
Well, confidence.
So I'm confident because I believe in my ability and I know I'm a great fighter, but also I wouldn't be sitting there saying, going too in depth. Like, I know I'm a great fighter, and to prove that is by winning titles. I haven't got to sit there in the camera and telling everyone how great I am and what I can and can't do, because in the day, you'll see that when I win titles. So when I'm world champion and everyone goes, "Quite look, he's a great fighter."
I totally agree with that. I think sometimes you just have to let your work do the talking.
100%.
And also sometimes it's it's not a bad thing to have confidence, but it's also not a bad thing to not realise that what you do naturally is something really special. I mean, timing wise, you were so economical with those shots. Going back to you saying that you don't hardly get hit, that is one of the things that you were so economical, your timing, your distance, changing of angles, all of that sort of thing. You were so hard to actually pin down. He tried to bully you a little bit.
Exactly, and this is another point. Some people say, like, he didn't get to work. But the reason why I didn't get to work is I never allowed him to. I never let him fight his fight. I never let him fight his pace. I was too much on the back foot. I was too clever for him. I was just too much for him overall. So if we fight 100 times, I'll beat him 100 times, because at the end of the day, he can try and rush me even more, but it doesn't matter because he'll fall through the ropes even more. He'll get counter-punched even more. So it's irrelevant whether he got to work or didn't get to work, because he tried to box me, he tried to stand off me, then he kept trying to rush. He didn't know what to do, and his trainers didn't know what to do. So that's why they said, rush him, you've got to sit on his chest. Yeah. Well, any fighter out there, come and sit on my chest. It's not a problem, because I fight my fight. You can want to try and sit on my chest, but that's not going to happen, because I fight my fight, and I'll be too much, I'll be too ring craft. And it's the same, and my boxing IQ is second to none.
I have to agree. Do you find that you've had 14 fights? Is it 7 KOs?
Yeah, I've had 7 stoppages. Yeah, 14.
Do you feel a little bit like a bit of pressure to stop people?
Do you know what? I think a lot of the public, like, obviously that's what they think, but I'm a master of what I do, and boxing is an art. It's an art. It's a chess game. It's not about getting in there swinging windmills. I can do that. I'm strong. I can go in there. I could have made that fight so close by just tucking up and teeing up with him, and then turn it to a pub fight. But so I'm not really worried about the knockouts. The knockouts will come. I'm developing at the weight. I'm getting bigger and stronger every single week. So the knockouts will come. Listen, I put the man down in the first round, so my power's definitely there, and I'm building on it even as we go. So I'm not really under pressure with the stoppages, because they will come.
I'm glad, because to be honest with you, Archie, I feel like, and again, it's probably because I come from a boxing background, I don't give a shit how you win the fight. The fact of the matter is, you boxed so well, you were such class. To me, that's what I would like to see, but I also understand that the public sometimes need to see blood and guts. So,
of course,
I think you can do both, though, can't you?
Exactly. If I need to fight, I can fight. But the difference is like my boxing ability is second to none, and so why not use that as my strength? So yeah, that's what gets me through the fights, and that's what wins.
So just lastly, I wanted to ask you: are you a fully sponsored athlete? Do you get any chance to sort of spend any time with your son? You got a son, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got my little boy and my stepdaughter. Yeah, she's 5.
Oh, I didn't know you had a little girl as well.
I've got a little guy and 6.
So do you get time to spend with them? Are you a full time, or do you
know what? I'm blessed. I am blessed. I've got a great team around me, and I am able to spend time with the kids, train, live a good family life. I live a good. I'm dedicated to the sport. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I rarely go out. And if I do, it's only, do you know what I mean, social, because you've got to have a social life as well. But absolutely. I do a lot I'm very family orientated, and I do a lot with my kids and my missus. So yeah, I'm blessed to have great sponsors around me who be able to put me in this position. And that's the same as I go back to being in a team. We're all a team, and I'm blessed that they're not they want to come through the journey with me. So when we're all in Vegas and sitting they want to be ringside, and which I mean, it's just a big thing that we can all see.
I like it.
So it's our little journey and our little dream. So that we're doing at the minute. But yeah, no, I'm blessed to be able to spend time with my kids, my family, and train as well.
Archie, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for giving me your time.
Thank you for having me on.
Some really good, wise words. I look forward to watching your journey, because I believe it's going to be great.
I appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxruk UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.